Robertson, Phil, is the Deputy Asia Director at Human Rights Watch and joins us live now from Bangkok. Phil, thank you so much for your time. Just to go over some of the main points of what the judge said. Myanmar must take all measures to prevent all acts of killing, causing harm or inflicting hardship that could lead to the destruction of the Rohingya. He said that even includes imposing measures that have been preventing childbirth of Rohingya women. Presumably, this is pretty much what you at Human Rights Watch would have wanted from that court.
This is a huge victory for the Rohingya people. It's a huge victory for human rights and justice for the Rohingya as well. What we're seeing is everything we could have hoped for. The court completely destroyed the Myanmar government's arguments. The judgment was unanimous. Even the judge who the Myanmar government appointed to the panel agreed with the plaintiffs. And we're now looking at a more strenuous reporting regimen coming out of this, and clear orders to not only take action against these kind of actions that constitute the genocide that's taken place, but also to make sure that evidence is not destroyed, which means going to the point of trying to get the government of Myanmar to stop destroying the remnants of Rohingya villages that were burnt down by the military.
Yes, absolutely correct. The judge also saying that within 4 months, the state of Myanmar must respond to the court's orders, and then after that, once every 6 months. The judge said the army must not commit genocide or incite or attempt genocide or be complicit in genocide. That word complicit or incite suggests that there could well be non-military forces, who are acting on behalf of either the state or the army in abusing and killing Rohingya. Is that the case?
There was clearly the evidence of irregular groups and militias, also groups of civilians that were involved in 2017. In many cases, we saw the military come in, drive the people out, and then irregulars come in. It could be, in some cases, civilian looting property and burning down villages. So, yes, there is a role for justice against not just the military, but also for civilians who were involved in atrocities against the Rohingya.
The judge said Myanmar had not presented to the court any concrete measures that show the right of the Rohingya to exist. Are we at that point now where the state of Myanmar doesn't even recognize the right to exist of this Muslim minority?
Well, they can't even bring themselves to mention the Rohingya's name. If you look at the statement that Aung San Suu Kyi gave at The Hague in December, she didn't mention the word Rohingya once. The only time that the government ever mentions Rohingya is in the context of the name of the ARSA, the group that the Myanmar government claims are terrorists. So again, when you can't even name a group, how can you claim that they exist?
Aung San Suu Kyi has written an opinion piece in the Financial Times, and she says the Rohingya refugees in Bangladesh are exaggerating the abuse. Why is she defending the army?
That's an excellent question. I think it goes to the issue of the 2020 elections, which are coming in Myanmar. I think it also is part of her political maneuvering on the national stage in Myanmar. She knows that the Rohingya people and the Rohingya cause is not popular within the country, and she's decided that she's more interested in holding on to power than doing the right thing.
What about enforceability of these orders from the court, Phil? What's the legal basis for a court ordering a state to do something? And what happens, do we believe, if the state doesn't comply?
Well, I mean, this order will be, of course, passed to the UN Secretary General. The UN Secretary General will convey it to the UN Security Council. The UN Security Council, I think, is where the action moves to next. What you need is to have 9 members of the council agree to put something on the agenda. And if Myanmar doesn't comply with these orders, then I think it really comes to the UN Security Council, the UN General Assembly, and the UN Human Rights Council to apply pressure. But we're going to also see other member states of the UN, countries in Europe, North America, and across the world demanding that Myanmar comply with these provisional orders. I mean, this is the world's top court. They need to comply with this legal order.
Just finally, what's the state of the situation right now? And just referring back again to that judgment from the president of the ICJ, he said when ruling whether this court here in The Hague has the jurisdiction to rule in this case brought by the Gambia on behalf of the OIC, he said it would have that sort of jurisdiction if there's evidence that urgent prejudice or harm could come to the Rohingya. And he said there was evidence to support that. So what's happening on the ground right now that we know?
Well, what we have is over 600,000 Rohingya locked down in internally displaced person camps. They have no ability to move out of those camps. They have no ability to earn livelihoods. They're cut off from access to services. They don't have adequate food. There's restrictions on marriage, restrictions on childbirth, the whole gamut of discriminatory measures, which continue to keep the Rohingya in a position of subservience to the existing the Rakhine there, but also to the military and to the officials in that state.
That's Human Rights Watch's Deputy Asia Director Phil Robertson. Phil, thank you so much for joining us.